Here's the story of how I broke my backup server when trying to update it. Don't worry, I fixed it. Since putting it in service nearly 5 months ago, my repurposed HP Elitedesk 800 G1 was doing fine as my backup server. Not long after making the video, I bought a second 4TB drive to put in it. For now, it's just additional space. I've been itching to give it some updates though, and I finally got some pieces in to do just that. First up, I want to swap out the Core i5 CPU for a Core i7. I got a good deal on a used i7 4790S, which while running at a slightly slower clock than its non-S counterpart, it still is a step above the i5. Since I was upgrading the processor, someone thought I should take care of that empty RAM slot. Back inside, my assistant was holding 4 sticks of 4GB RAM, which looks newer than the 3 sticks I have in there now. While I'm calling him my assistant, it was more like a supervisor there for a little bit. With him tuckered out, I was on my own to swap out the CPU. Once in and cleaned up, the i7 looks like it belonged there from the beginning. All buttoned up, I notice I need to update the BIOS on this machine. Someone was shocked I finished the job without them. Now for what I broke. Apparently when I updated the BIOS, this machine would no longer boot without a monitor hooked up. I could find no BIOS setting to change this behavior. First I tried using a KVM switch, but I found out quickly that that wouldn't work, so I looked for another option. I found forums and blogs about just using resistors, and I try at first a 100 ohm resistor between pins 1 and 6. With that a no-go, I switched to pins 2 and 7. That worked, so I was able to trim down the leads and put it back where it belonged. Recalculating costs with the new parts, we only increased the base cost by less than $20. The cheaper RAM helped offset the CPU, and storage drives came in around $68 each, so our final cost is $257 for a decent system with 8 TB of storage. What do you think? Is the i7 overkill? It might be. I had planned on using this machine to help me understand more about virtual machines and containers, but I may not want to do that with something I rely on daily. In that regard, other than me updating the BIOS, it really has performed well. Power consumption at idle with the drives spun down, it's only pulling about 18 watts. The drives spin at only 5400 RPM, so if they aren't involved in an I/O process, they don't draw very much power. Peak power draw now can approach 100 watts, while with the i5 it was under 75. Considering it isn't normally using all that CPU power, it really doesn't change things much. Be sure to leave a thumbs up or a comment if you found this interesting or helpful. That's it for this video. I hope that it wasn't terrible.